Welcome to Study Loop.
Question 13. We start with R equals 20 omega. L equals 1H. C equals 2 1,000ths, which when we take the inverse of that, I get 500. So 1 divided by which will be my constant. I have F of 0, Q of 0, equals 0, and Q prime of 0 equals 0. So first I want to get my general equation, and I have Q double prime plus 20 Q prime plus 500 equals 12 volts, which is just 12. So I use my quadratic formula to solve that. So I have negative 20 plus or minus the square root of 400 minus 2,000 divided by 2, which gives me negative 20 plus or minus 40I over 2, which gives me negative 10 plus or minus 20I. So the general form of my equation, Q of T equals C1 E negative 10T cosine 20T plus C2 E negative 10T sine 20T. So I'm going to let Q E equal A, then Q prime would equal 0, as well as Q double prime. So I would have 500 A equals 12. Therefore, A equals 12 over 500, which in reduced form is 3 over 125. That's my A. So I would add 3 over 125 to my equation. So now I have to solve for my C1 and my C2. Solving for my C1, I put a 0 in for QC of T. I know that sine is going to be 0. So what I'm really left with is I have 0 equals C1 plus 3 over 125. Therefore, C1 equals negative 3 over 125. So now to find C2, I'm going to take my prime. So my Q prime of T, and this is a lot of the product rule. C1 negative 10 E negative 10t cosine 20t minus 20 C1 e to the negative 10t sine 20t minus 10 C2 e to the negative 10t sine 20t plus 20 C2 e to the negative 10t cosine 20t. So when I plug in my 0 equals 0, I have 0 over here, and then I end up with negative 10 C1 plus 20 C2 equals 0. I plug in my negative 1 over 125, so I end up with 30 over 125, that's a 3, equals 20 times C2. Multiplied by 1/20th, and I end up with negative, because when I plug in negative 3 over 125, that makes that a positive, and I subtract it to the other side, it becomes negative. So I multiply both sides by 1/20th, and I end up with C2 equals negative 3 over 250. All right, so my general equation negative 3 over 125 e to the negative 10t cosine 20t minus 3 over 250 e negative 10t sine 20t plus 3 over 1/25. If I factor out a negative 1 over 250 e to the negative 10t, I'm left with 6 cosine 20t minus 3 sine 20t plus 3 over 125, which is my answer. And then I also have to solve for my I. So the I is the derivative. So when I go back to my derivative function, and I plug in my, I have negative 10 times C2 plus minus 20 C1 And I'm really only concerned with my sine function because that will give me my 0, and I need the 0 because my q prime equals 0. So when I take negative 10 C2 minus 20 C1, I end up with 3/5. So my I of t equals 3/5 e negative 10t sine of 20t.